This is me and my dog, Roscoe, my bulldog. Pal, he's like 9 years old. He's vegan.
Sometimes life introduces us to souls who change our world forever. They may not speak our language, yet their presence says more than words ever could. For Lewis Hamilton, that soul was his English bulldog, Roscoe. Lewis wasn't just a 7-time Formula One world champion. He was a man who found peace, comfort, and unconditional love in the company of his loyal friend. Roscoe wasn't just a pet, he was family. He was the heartbeat behind Hamilton's smile, the calm after the chaos of racing circuits, and the quiet companion through victory and defeat. Roscoe entered Hamilton's life in 2013, when the world knew Lewis as a fierce competitor, focused, driven, unstoppable. But behind the champion, there was a human being searching for balance, for something real. Roscoe brought that balance. He grounded Hamilton, reminded him of simplicity and joy amid fame and pressure. Hamilton interview. I remember the first time I met Roscoe. Hamilton smiles softly. He was tiny, clumsy, but confident. He just came up, sat beside me like he already owned the place. From that moment, I knew he was my boy. Roscoe soon became a regular at F1 circuits, whether it was Monaco, Silverstone, or Abu Dhabi. The sight of Hamilton walking into the paddock with Roscoe became iconic. Fans adored it. Roscoe had his own social media presence, his own fan base. People loved his expressions, his charm, and that unmistakable bond between man and dog. But behind those Instagram posts and smiling pictures was a bond deeper than most could imagine. For Hamilton, Roscoe was more than a companion. He was a mirror, a reflection of love, patience, and loyalty in its purest form. When I'd come back from a bad race, Lewis recalls, Roscoe didn't care if I finished first or 10th. He just wanted to be near me. You can't explain that kind of love. It's pure. Their bond grew stronger with time. Roscoe followed Hamilton everywhere, from long flights to hotel rooms, from racetracks to photo shoots. When Hamilton adopted a vegan lifestyle, Roscoe did too. The bulldog became a global symbol of kindness and conscious living. But life, no matter how beautiful, always hides an ending we're never ready for. There are moments in life when someone enters our world and changes it completely. It could be a person or even an animal, but when they leave, something inside us breaks. Maybe it's just human nature. We struggle to accept that life goes on without them. Sometimes we tell ourselves, if they had never come into our life, maybe it wouldn't hurt this much. But that's not true, because even in the pain of losing them, there's a beauty. The beauty of having loved deeply. Lewis Hamilton, a man the world calls the king of speed, lost the one soul who made him. Slow down, his dog Roscoe. In mid-2024, Hamilton shared heartbreaking news with his fans. Roscoe was gone. After years of being by his side, through victories, losses, and life's every turn, the little bulldog's journey had come to an end. The announcement hit millions around the world. Fans, athletes, and fellow racers poured their hearts out online. For many, Roscoe wasn't just Hamilton's dog. He was a symbol of loyalty, a reminder that behind greatness lies a heart that feels, breaks, and loves deeply. When I lost him, it felt like a part of me was gone, Lewis says softly. He wasn't just my dog, he was my best friend. The energy in my home, it just changed overnight. The days after Roscoe's passing were quiet. The man who had once conquered tracks and trophies found himself struggling with silence. The same arms that held steering wheels now felt empty. But amid the sadness, Hamilton began to reflect on life, on love, and the lessons Roscoe had left behind. In every wag of his tail, in every look from those kind eyes, Roscoe had taught Hamilton something profound, that success means nothing if you can't love and be loved. He showed me patience, Lewis says. He showed me how to slow down. Sometimes I'd be lost in my thoughts, and he'd just rest his head on my leg, reminding me that being present is everything. Fans began posting old clips of Roscoe walking proudly beside Hamilton at races. Journalists remembered him as the most famous dog in Formula One. Roscoe had walked red carpets, flown private jets, and lived a life most could only dream of. But his greatest achievement was the happiness he gave to one man. As Lewis looked back at pictures, memories, and moments, he realized something. Roscoe hadn't really left. His presence was still there. In the morning light, in the quiet moments, in the calm before every race. As days turned into weeks, Hamilton found himself walking through a quieter home. No paws tapping on the floor, no soft snoring by his side. For a man who had lived in the fast lane his entire life, this silence was the slowest, heaviest sound of all. Roscoe's absence wasn't just emotional, it was physical. The empty space beside his bed, the empty leash by the door, the missing routine of morning walks. Every corner whispered, memories. I still catch myself turning around sometimes, Lewis admits quietly. Expecting to see him there. I'll walk into the living room and almost hear his little grunt. It's strange how the mind plays tricks, or maybe it's just love refusing to let go. For many people, the world sees Hamilton as an icon, unshakable, unbreakable, the man who rewrote Formula One history. But loss doesn't care who you are. It humbles kings and champions alike. And so, Lewis began to process his grief in his own way, privately, away from cameras, surrounded only by silence and memory. He began journaling, writing small notes to Roscoe, remembering the times they shared. He'd often post old photos with captions that felt like whispers to the past. Miss you every day, buddy. I realized grief isn't something you overcome, he says softly. You learn to carry it. You learn to live with the love that's left behind. Roscoe's story became more than Hamilton's. It became a reminder to the world that love knows no species and grief knows no boundaries. Fans across the globe shared their own stories of losing pets, stories of heartbreak, but also healing. In those shared memories, Hamilton found comfort. Slowly, he returned to racing. Each time he sat behind the wheel, he felt the familiar rush of adrenaline. But now there was something different. The man who once raced for records was now racing for remembrance. Hamilton began to carry a small tag with Roscoe's name engraved on it, a quiet tribute to the companion who had been with him through every turn of his journey. I still feel like he's there, Lewis says with a faint smile. Before every race, I whisper, let's do this, buddy. It's our ritual. Always was. Roscoe wasn't just part of Hamilton's story. He became part of his legacy. The bulldog that once walked alongside one of the greatest drivers in history had now become a symbol of love, loyalty, and the unseen strength behind success. In the months following Roscoe's death, Hamilton announced that he was creating a small foundation in Roscoe's memory, one that supports animal welfare and adoption. It wasn't about fame or image. It was personal. It was love made eternal. I think Roscoe would want me to do that, he says, smiling. He had such a kind heart, and I want that kindness to live on through other animals who need it. Fans began using the hashtag #RunForRoscoe, celebrating his life with pictures of their own pets, tributes, and stories of how animals changed their world. From New York to London to Tokyo, Roscoe's name echoed across borders. He wasn't just Hamilton's bulldog anymore. He was the world's reminder that love, in its truest form, never dies. Reflections on life and love. Through Roscoe's memory, Hamilton began to see life differently. Fame, trophies, money, none of it compared to the joy of simple companionship. The dog who once lay quietly beside him had unknowingly taught him life's greatest truths. He taught me that presence matters more than perfection, Lewis says. We chase so much, but he was always just there, content, happy. That's what I want to be. This shift wasn't just emotional, it changed how Hamilton approached everything. His racing became more grounded, his public talks more thoughtful. Behind every victory lap there was a whisper, For you, Roscoe, there comes a moment in everyone's life when we lose someone who meant the world to us, and in that loss we're faced with a choice: to close our hearts, or to keep their love alive by living better. Lewis Hamilton chose the latter. He realized that love doesn't end with goodbye. It transforms from presence to memory, from memory to purpose. If I've learned anything from Roscoe, he says, pausing, it's that love is the only thing that lasts. Everything else fades. But love becomes part of who you are. Roscoe may have left this world, but his spirit lives in every race, every smile, and every quiet moment of reflection. He taught a champion how to slow down. He taught a legend how to love. And through him, Lewis Hamilton showed the world that even the fastest man on earth has a heart that beats for something far more eternal than victory. In the end, it's not about how many races we win, how much fame we gain, or how fast we go. It's about the souls who run beside us, the ones who make the journey worth taking. Roscoe wasn't just a bulldog. He was a reminder that love once given never truly fades, because even when the world moves on, love stays. In loving memory of Roscoe, the heart behind the champion,